Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. Today, we'll talk about design automation, and I'm very happy because it's a subject which is not very often discussed, not enough often, in my opinion, at least. And for that, we are lucky to welcome three experts, starting with Rohan KESWANI. Rohan is in charge of the roles portfolio for knowledge capture in CATIA at Dassault System. Hi, Rohan.
Hi, Anne.
Maybe can you let us know a bit more about yourself and our guests, please?
Sure. So thanks, Anne. Yes. So my name is Rohan KESWANI. I work in the CATIA portfolio management team, and I work on knowledgeware topics. So all topics related to engineering, design, automation with EKL scripting, with templates creation, capturing design methodologies, being able to reuse them through various technologies and functionalities that we provide part of the CATIA Design product suite and our 3D experience platform. And also I work on our algorithmic design tools called X Generative Design. So I'm happy today to be joined by Richard Frontera and Jeff ERNO, both of whom are CATIA champions. In fact, Richard was the first CATIA champion, and both of whom are real champions of the design automation domain as well. They've been using these tools for a number of years. So I'm happy. Thanks, guys, for joining, and I'm happy to be doing this, participating in this discussion with both of you.
Thank you.
So I'll let Richard start things off. Richard, if you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah, with pleasure. Bonjour Anne, bonjour Rohan, bonjour Jeff. Hi everyone. From my side, I would say that CAD automation is a really nice and wonderful word. And yes, as Anne mentioned, it's really a pleasure to be able to finally publicly speak about it. And I hope it's going to lead to some other discussions. I work from my side with CATIA for 20 years now. And journey did start in 2002. I did start my journey as a simple draughtsman, improve my skills by being curious, testing, discovering functionalities, and learning thanks to the use of training materials. So it had been a hard work, and also thanks to the help of some of the persons I worked with who taught me a lot. And this is more or less what we are trying to do right now. I worked for various industries like automotive companies, aviation, electric components, energy, etc. And I did start as a simple draughtsman, but I also had positions like business representative, PLM implementation leader, team lead. I also spent some time in association like the GEFUC, which is a French CATIA association, and also the SCUA, SCUA, which is a Swiss CATIA User Association. What I quickly realized with CATIA is how flexible it is and how easy it is to design with it, and how design automation is easy to be performed with CATIA. So I worked with CATIA automation since 2006, doing a project, a migration phase from CATIA V4 to CATIA V5 for a famous French car manufacturer. And this thanks to the fact that we were provided full license machine, and I've been able then to discover workbenches, very specific ones, like KWA, KWE, and PKAT, which stands for Knowledge Advisor, Knowledge Experts, and Product Knowledge Templates. And this is where my journey in CATIA automation did start. So since 2006, I never gave up trying to develop automation with CATIA, and as it's really easy to do. From my side, I really don't like scripting. I hate this, but CAD automation with CATIA is mainly based on templates. And this is one of the major positive aspects of CATIA, its flexibility.
And in a bit, I think, Risha, you're going to, sorry, I was just saying that, Risha, in a bit, I think you can show us some examples and things like that as well.
Yeah, John, exactly, with pleasure.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to know that, all of those years of experience with design automation, I think we are going to be curious to know more. Yeah, on to you, Jeff. If you can just introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize I'm significantly older than Richard, but my focus is different in a lot of different ways as well, but a very, very similar background to Richard. So I've been involved in the computer-aided design product lifecycle management space since the early 90s. This is the early days of parametric design. And back when I started, engineering analysis was done with polynomials, maybe a computer program, maybe it was just writing things on a form and using a calculator, or guys before me used an abacus in order to calculate things. And what I quickly found is that as designs were changing, from an engineering perspective, geometry and connected finite element analysis was key to be able to do that really, really well. So I became a computer-aided design expert, parametric design, with competitor tools, but was able to get very excellent things done with that. And what I found was that if you really wanted to do that well, you wanted to analyze lots of different things quickly, you needed to be able to have really robust parametrics, and you needed to be able to do scripting, as Richard was saying. So I kind of did not enjoy learning Fortran as a freshman in college, but I kind of, once it became focused on trying to solve an engineering problem, I found it really, really fun to do scripting. And about 6 years ago, I discovered CATIA, and through the help of initially Richard, who's on the call, and later with Rohan as well, I learned CATIA and the capabilities of that. And it's been just a wonderful journey for me. My job currently with Dassault, which I've been here a little over 4 years, is very similar to what I've done my whole career. Understand what are the needs of engineering teams and companies in industry, and connect them with software that can achieve those needs very, very well, to be able to improve various things, whether it's cycle time or it's the quality of the results. All those things can be improved. So it's better living through software with regards to doing some programming where you need to, but ideally doing less of it. And we'll get into that later when we talk further.
Okay, great. Thanks. Well, it's clear that amongst the two of you, we've got 40 years of design automation experience, design expertise. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so we have some functionalities and some videos that Risha can walk us through. And more importantly, as Risha, you were mentioning that you've started off as a draftsman, using design to primarily create these 2D drawings and things like that. And you've worked in so many different industries, of course, working on complex assemblies and things like that. So what are the key aspects of CATIA design or CATIA functionalities that have helped you in your projects and in your experience?
In my experience, before start diving into the functionalities, I think what differentiates CATIA the most is its flexibility. The specification tree, so the tree which start being built while designing, is very flexible, and you can organize it in the way you want, in fact. And from my side, while training people on the use of CATIA, what I'm used to tell them is that if you organize your specification tree in such a way that you would read a book with the introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, and so on and so forth, it helps you a lot in achieving your goals. And also automation. It's really important to be able to organize everything in a really proper way. And this flexibility is really key.
Okay.
Second one, we can maybe have a look at the video. So here's the video. Voila. So while the video will be played, as mentioned, what I really like is its flexibility to design and to organize your specification tree here, but also its capability to create in a very easy way and to instantiate them templates, like feature templates, as you can see on the screen now, but also part and product templates. It makes automation very, very, very easy. Also, there's another aspect of CATIA which helps a lot. It's its capability to store everything in catalogs or libraries, which can be retrieved very easily, either manually or based on automation. And this automation capabilities, or this templatization, helps in building on the live, on the go skeletons, which skeletons can be reused then for high-level automation, like here, like you can see on the screen, which are part and product automation, and it enables them to automatically instantiate or create everything on the fly at proper position. So the key features, I think, within CATIA is really its flexibility, templatization capabilities, skeleton capabilities, easy catalog, easy EKL and light scripting. I hate scripting from my side, and EKL is very easy to use. And its ability to consume then all these templates in automation scripts. So this is really something key, yes, my opinion.
Yeah, that's good to know. And it's very interesting that both of you started off by saying that you hated scripting, but the fact that when you have to solve an engineering problem, that's what gives you the motivation
There's no way.
to and of course, you know, what we try to do, of course, it's with the design automation tools is that we provide an integrated environment for scripting, so it makes things slightly easier. And also the language that we use, or the design automation language, is really aimed at designers rather than at programmers. So it makes it once again easier for you know, all sorts of non-development fields also to be able to pick it up and start automating things. So Jeff, in your opinion, what really allows all of these design automations to happen? What makes what's the framework, or what's under the hood that allows these capabilities to function the way they do?
Yeah, it's like you read my mind. That's exactly what I want to talk about here. The difference that CATIA has with other tools that I've used in the past, and I've used two of Dassault's competitors before in the past, is that it's really built from the ground up, biased towards robustness and reuse. So if you look at the basics, like what Richard was talking about the specification tree, or what other CAD systems may call the model tree, everything is organized very well. There are clean and clear inputs and outputs for every command, or what other CAD systems call features, that get created. And what this allows you to do is to very easily sew things together, and they're together in a way that can then be packaged and reused later in the templates that were mentioned earlier. So these are really, really big. And some of the pieces, for example, even the selection, when you want to add a new feature to your model, the selection wants you to pick something that's already in the spec tree, the feature, the command itself, not sub items within the display screen. And that is what allows it to be very robust and able to be packaged into pieces. And just other simple examples of that, when you create a sketch, you can already create as outputs of that sketch different groupings, because many times you're creating a system of things that are working together, and then you want to dole them out into separate portions of the model. Those things can be done very easily and very clearly, and in a way that's going to be reusable and packaged for later. And when I love to write code, I became to love it, as you mentioned, focused. Once I started getting into engineering problems, it starts to be a lot of fun to write code. But code can be slow, it can be buggy. And instead, if you can move a lot of the code that you write and move that into robust subroutines, essentially, that these templates are, it's extremely powerful and a great way not only to develop things quickly that are useful for end users, but also be able to easily modify them. Because if you organize them in that chapter format, the way Richard described earlier about the specification tree, it's very clear what's happening at every step. Where in a lot of other CAD systems, you see a very long flat list of commands, and it's very hard to know what it is that you're looking at. It gives you that organization and flexibility that is easily modifiable for you to then continue on, not only making things quickly, but being able to improve them over time, which is much harder to do with code. And it's definitely a much different skill base when you have to resort to code. So it's the underlying foundation, Rohan, that is just very different. And even week by week, I still get amazed about some of the new things that I find that exist as commands. It's just amazing.
Yeah. So I guess I think it comes down to the fact that automation, as these functionalities are integrated into the design environment, as it is, you know, each and every feature is exposed to these capabilities, it just allows you to build these robust templates by selecting all the objects that you have access to, or at least having the capability to select all of these objects, their attributes, and so on. So it comes down to the underlying integrations that we already have in place, the infrastructure that we have in place that allows all of this. So that's that's good to know. And so Jeff, how do we take all of this to the next level? What can we do?
Great.
What sort of functionalities that we offer that really allows us to take design automation to absolutely the next level?
So if you can share my screen, here's an example where you're talking about the end, like major value that you can get. This is an example that's done in our CATIA 3D experience where everything here has been created interacting with the user interface of our native client in order to build the user interface, all of the different pieces that are here, whether they're a template of individual piece parts or template of subassemblies. All those things have been created interactively, and then even the process by which you're going to go through and build, in this case, a drone, helicopter, drone, quadcopter. Everything here was created interactively, building on those templates that we've done. So the big fundamental thing there is not only are you able to put a little bit of programming for value within the templates themselves, but you can then start to wrap them with intelligence on the outside, creating a complete custom app that is specific to your company, building piece by piece. And as you go, you could have value out of some of these templates that you create immediately because you can start using them rather than the individual commands. But when you start to get further down that road, now you can start to bring them together with additional automation layered on top of it, including building user interfaces and this process that you're seeing on the right-hand side. So to me, there's layer upon layer. You could get started at the simple templating. You can add a little bit of programming, which starts to take it to the next level. You can start to do even more and build your own specific application. Really, it's a very powerful technology. It allows you to go very, very far with it.
Yeah, that's good to know. And it's certainly interesting that you have been able to use, I think, Risha as well, these capabilities for your industrial projects over the years to be able to implement these solutions. So it was a good, I think, quick introduction to these topics. So thank you guys for joining. I'll let Anne take over.
Thank you. Yes, so really, yes, it was an interesting conversation. Let's see if we have any questions from our audience, but at the moment, I don't think so. I see many hellos, but no questions yet. However, I myself have a question for you guys. I mean, a lot of things seem a little complex to me in what you presented, and I was just wondering, is it difficult to set them up, and how do you recommend that our users can start learning more?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start answering. I saw that Varad asked a question, how can I learn EKL? So learning from my side, I can tell you, as you know, I did start as a simple draughtsman. So the best is really to go through the learning space, for instance, or the supporting documents, and to try to learn about
and
it.
just
so very simple.
Yeah. Sorry, Richard, to interrupt you. I just wanted to mention that when you said learning space, so we have an official learning portal where we have some courses available for design automation. So I just wanted to specify that. Sorry, Richard, you can go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. Well done. It's live. It's not for nothing. It has to be alive. So yes, Varad, and for any others, I did start from the bottom. I reached the top, more or less. So do start with really basic things. Do start easy, and then step after step, go up. Go up in complexity in the different various methods or functionalities you're gonna use. Start really easy and learn how to go up step after step, and then you're gonna be able to do very crazy things. Automation here is really awesome with CATIA. There's many capabilities we didn't spoke about, like the ability to consume UDF in manufacturing, how to apply FTNA templates, and so on and so forth. There's really many different topics. We can maybe later on also explain or go through, have some talks to dive a bit deeper into details. If you'd like to do so, guys, it's gonna be our pleasure to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that many of these advanced topics, we can definitely don't hesitate to connect on the communities
Never.
or comment on topics that you would like to see. We can definitely have future talks on those topics.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for suggesting this, Rohan. And that's what I wanted to add also. Thank you all for attending. But sorry, before I saw that there was a question about the language. So I think it's Varad who asks the question, how can I learn EKL? Sorry.
EKL?
Yes, EKL. And I assume you already answered with the EduSpace and training space. I will add the link in the comment on LinkedIn or in the community. Yes, so to answer those kind of questions, you can continue the conversation with Richard, Jeff, and Rohan into the CATIA user community. You see the link here in the slide or at the bottom of the screen. Maybe if I do like this, no, sorry. Let me show you how it looks like. You see that in this CATIA user community, so you will access it by entering 3ds, sorry, go.3ds.com/CATIA, and you will have to fill out a DS passport if you don't have one yet. And afterwards, you will see a lot of content starting with posts, but also videos, media, 3D models, and so on in this CATIA user community. And if you are looking for a specific subject, like here on Knowledgeware, for example, you will find those posts again, but you can also select people and find all the people who included Knowledgeware into their profile. We can see Rohan as an example, and probably all of you. And yes, as this talk was a kind of introduction to design automation, now I would like we all would like to know more about what you expect from Dassault Systèmes on design automation in the future. So let's connect, well, feel free to connect with Richard, Rohan, or Jeff, and we'll be happy to start new talks or to answer your question via post, for example. Now, well, except if you have something to add, sorry. That's it. That's it for me. Sorry. So yes, feel free to let us know your expectations on design automation, and goodbye for now.
Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone. See you.
Thank you too, Richard. Bye-bye.